How's it going, guys? It's the May Sandwich, and thank you for 400 subscribers. I mean, it's been a while since I've done a subscriber special, like maybe 5 years ago, probably. And to celebrate, I decided I wanted to do another top 10. And this top 10 is another top 10 of a video I've already done. So anyway, this is another top 10 games I want to see ported onto Nintendo Switch 2. Now, before we get started, I do want to share what I had on my previous list, just to, refresh your memory, or in case you haven't seen the first one. And as you can see from my first list, I didn't get a single one right. Though you could make the exception for Super Mario 3D All-Stars because we just got Super Mario Galaxy 2 on the Switch, but to get like a bundle of those three games with Galaxy 2, I don't think it's going to happen. But that's okay. I wasn't really expecting it to come to the Switch 2 anyway. But let's just stop talking and actually get to talking. So anyway, here's the next top 10. Kicking off the list at number 10 is Baldur's Gate 3. I know this is a big one to start off the top 10, but I really want this game on the Switch too, just because it won Game of the Year in 2023. That's actually the only reason, I'm not just gonna lie. But to be honest, I do think it'd be cool just because I knew that this game was obviously the winner, as I mentioned. And I do know that people would like to see this, but if you want my opinion, as much as I want to see it, just because I knew some people want to see it, I don't know if it's gonna happen just because of how powerful the game is, and I don't know if the Switch 2 could handle it. But I still think it'd be pretty cool to see the game on the Switch 2. Number 10 turning into number 9, like Link turned into a wolf in this game, is The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD. Now, we already have Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom on the Switch 2, and the Nintendo Switch 2 GameCube classics add The Wind Waker, but we are missing Twilight Princess, and I know that there's a lot of rumors of this game coming onto the Switch 2, and that's basically why I put it on the list. Because I do think it's going to happen, but not extremely, but I think it'd be cool to see this, because I know a lot of people really like this game, I know there's high demand for it, and I think it's time that we can bring it anywhere we can now. So that's why I put Twilight Princess onto the list. Now that being said, I don't think we will get Wind Waker HD because we already have that on the Nintendo GameCube Classics. So that's why that's not on the list, but I do think Twilight Princess deserves another chance on the Nintendo Switch too. Now coming in at number 8 for me is Devil May Cry 5. I don't know why I added that onto the recording. Anyway, I do think we should get the rest of the Devil May Cry games onto the Switch too. But I want to see this game more because it's the newest entry. I do think it can happen because the Switch 2 is powerful enough to run it, I think. And Capcom supports their games on the Switch too. And heck, Pragmata and the new Resident Evil will be coming to the Switch 2 soon enough. And we do see other Devil May Cry games on the regular Switch. And while the gameplay is quick and stylish, seeing if it will come to Switch 2 is a game of wait and see. Coming at number 7 for me are the last two games of the Operation Rainfall campaign that aren't on the Nintendo Switch yet, being The Last Story and Pandora's Tower. If you want to understand why these games were so important, we have to go back to 2011. While Japan and Europe were playing some of the best RPGs ever made, Nintendo of America basically told us, nah, you don't want these. But fans did not take that sitting down. They launched Operation Rainfall, which is a massive grassroots campaign to prove there was a market for The Last Story, Pandora's Tower, and Xenoblade Chronicles. They flooded Nintendo with letters, positions, and even got Xenoblade to number 1 on the Amazon pre-order charts, which is for a game that hasn't even been announced for the US yet. It actually worked. Nintendo eventually folded in and gave us all three, but they were released at the very end of the Wii's lifecycle in limited qualities. And now that I gave you the little backstory of it, let's actually get to the reasons why I want to see these games on the Switch too. The unique blend of cover-based combat and real-time strategy in The Last Tower was way ahead of its time, but it was held back by the Wii's resolution. Then you have Pandora's Tower, a dark action RPG with a unique chain mechanic and a tick-tocking mechanic that felt like a twisted version of Zelda. Both games deserve a Xenoblade-style Definitive Edition treatment on the Switch too, but there is a problem. Unlike Xenoblade Chronicles, these games were developed by third-party studios, being Mistwalker and Ganbarion, which I'm pretty sure I pronounced wrong. Hironobu Sakagashi, who I'm pretty sure I pronounced wrong as well, has stated in interviews that he isn't personally interested in doing remasters, preferably to focus on new projects. Because Nintendo doesn't fully own the studios, the red tape is much thicker than it was for Shulk's Adventures. Now, if you want to know why they belong in the Switch 2, it's because it's just the perfect place to fix the hidden gem curse. With the success of Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, there is a proven market for Wii era RPG revivals. These games are cult classics that would finally get the HD visuals and performances they were always meant to have, and it is the ultimate way to complete the Rainfall trilogy for a new generation. At number 6, I want to demand the real deal. I don't want a Pocket Edition, and I don't want a cloud version, though maybe a game keycard might work. But I think it's time for Final Fantasy 15 and Final Fantasy 16 to land onto the Nintendo Switch 2. We already went through the Pocket Edition of Nox's Journey on the original Switch, but with the Switch 2 upgrade specs, we should actually see the actual journey through like the actual graphics, not like some Pocket chibi stuff. But Final Fantasy 16 might be a little more trickier because it was built for PS5 and I don't know if the Switch 2 could handle it. Maybe a game key card could work like I mentioned earlier, but I don't know. But the reason why I think it will happen is because, well, since we have Final Fantasy VII Remake on the Switch 2, and some other Final Fantasy games on the actual Switch, why not have these games? But like I said, they are really energy hungry, so I'm not sure if these games could actually come to the Switch 2. I mean, 15 I think has a chance, 16 not as much. Whether it's the Road Trip of a Lifetime or Dark Tale of Revenge like those games, these are the heavy hitters I think we need. But for number 5, we're going back to the West for Red Dead Redemption 2. We already saw how well the first Red Dead runs on the regular Switch, and Switch 2, but I think it's time for the second game to come to the console. And the reason I'm saying this is because, well, if we have the first game, why can't we have the second one? And besides, I think it would be amazing to see the game on the Switch 2 because I enjoyed the first one, and I'm still currently playing it, but I think it's time we get the second one as well because, like I said, it's a good game, and I think the second game deserves a chance as well. Power dunking into number 4 is Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. I do think the Nintendo Switch 2 could use some more fighting games. We have Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which is how I know Terry, and we have Street Fighter 6, which launched for the console. I'm still hoping we can get Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which I had on the first list. But I think Fatal Fury City of the Wolves is a good choice because, well, it's a really nice looking game, and I just think it would be a really good choice for Switch 2 because if Street Fighter 6 can come to the Switch 2, so can this game. And speaking of fighting games, we're moving on to Tekken 8. I cannot do it as good as Lindy Hart. But I can say this. I think Tekken 8 has a chance of being on Nintendo Switch too. Let me actually say why, though. So, the reason why I want to put Tekken 8 onto Nintendo Switch 2 is because, well, we got Street Fighter 6, so why can't we get Tekken 8? Besides, we have Kazuya in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I think Namco would be okay with the game being onto Nintendo Switch 2. But would it run, though? Maybe as a game keycard. But that's all I can really say about that. Coming at number 2 for me are the Kingdom Hearts games. For real this time. I think it's fair to say that we've all been dreaming of the day we can play the full Kingdom Hearts library on a Nintendo console without worrying about Wi-Fi lag or stuttering. I mean, Dream Drop Distance runs well on the 3DS, but why does it run well on the Switch? Well, that's because it's a cloud version, and you run, like, you get the idea. And with how good the Switch 2 runs, it's fair to say that there's no more excuses. Seeing Sora, Donald, and Goofy running smoothly on a handheld with all that extra power would be the ultimate simple and clean experience we've all been waiting for. And it's time to let the cloud versions fade into the darkness, and it's time to bring the real deal into the light. I think I got too into it there. Sorry. I don't have any honorable mentions this time because, well, some of the honorable mentions from my original list are here in this top 10, though not all of them. I just want to get to the number 1 spot, so let's just get to the number 1. So, the number 1 game that I want to see on Nintendo Switch 2, from this list anyway, is all of the Uncharted games. So the reason I want the Uncharted games on the Nintendo Switch 2 console is because, well, they're only on PlayStation, and I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm obviously kidding. I mean, those games are never going to come to the Nintendo console because they're PlayStation games. So let's actually get to the actual number 1, and that is Clear Obscura Expedition 33. Now, I really want this game to come to the Nintendo Switch 2 because, well, it won Game of the Year in 2025. But that's just one reason. I keep hearing everyone talk about how incredible the game is, whether it's like from the story, the world, the characters, and I would like to try it out for myself. I haven't even seen anything about it. I haven't seen gameplay, I haven't seen any of the characters, though I did hear some of the music, and it's really good. And I just got into RPG last year with Xenoblade Chronicles and Fire Emblem, and I think Claire Obscura would be a good choice for me. But let's be real, the PC requirements for this game are intense. It asks for a lot of ROM and a fast SSD, and even if the Switch 2 isn't massively forward, fitting that huge game into a small Switch 2 cartridge is a huge challenge. We might have to see some downgrades in like the texture detail or the lighting to make it playable, and it might have to be a game keycard. But still, if the rumors are true and Sandfall Interactive is looking into it, this could be the big game for the Switch 2 in, 2026. And I'm hoping that we can get this game because if this game really is Game of the Year, I want to see it for myself and I'm interested in trying it out. So that's why this game is number 1 on my list. And that's my list. What do you guys want to see on the Nintendo Switch 2? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. So until next time, I'll catch you later.